What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another Dota commentary brought to you by yours truly, B-Ballin. And this is another matchup from the Litany League. Southeast Asia's best are competing out. Well, they're missing a couple teams like Zenith from here, but still a lot of really strong Southeast Asian teams are competing, as well as the team you are seeing currently on the diet, Neolution-Orange. Currently probably the best team in Southeast Asia, although they're not playing with their Mushi lap. Instead, they're playing with their new player, Kechik Imba, or Sesek Imba. Han Prodigy, who apparently is only 16 years old. But yeah, they're going to be playing up against InFamous, a team from India. So people from all over Southeast Asia can compete and participate in this tournament. It's not the biggest prize winnings, but still a lot of experience, a lot of really strong Southeast Asian teams, and it's a pretty relaxed league. Shout out to the admin who let me have access to these replays. And man, if you guys are Orange fans, you're going to be seeing a lot of Orange in the next couple of days, because man, a lot of Orange games are going to be released because the admin has, I think, all of the replays that Orange played, and he will send them to me. But anyway, this is a matchup between Orange and InFamous, and right now, Orange, again, probably the best team in the Southeast Asian region. I have never heard of InFamous. They are a team from India, so this is the first time seeing Indian Dota, and this is actually the first time casted Orange in quite a bit. I think this might be like the first or second time I casted Orange in Dota 2 in the past, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. I think I cast them in the Razor Mini Madness, but that's it. I definitely have not casted them since Yamate left. But yeah, this is a matchup from the Litany League. Again, if you want to have more information on where to sign up for Season 3, check out the website description below, or the website in the description below. I think it will be covered by Dotatalk for the streaming needs, but as always, shouts to Esports League for casting this tournament. I'm sure the commentators did a great job. Actually, I know the commentators did a great job because they had very, very positive reception. I think Zyclo, if that's his name, casted it with somebody, and he was hilarious apparently. I have honestly not watched the broadcast, but I've heard all sorts of good things. Anyway, enough of background information from this tournament. Again, if you want to participate in future seasons, you can sign up on the website. But now, we're going to watch this game, as we're going to see Nyx and Rubik being banned out by Neolution-Orange. So they're probably going to pick up the Batrider, since InFamous did not pick up the Batrider. So I'm going to see how Orange decides to play this. When Winter was on the team, Orange pretty much exclusively ran an offlane Batrider. But Winter is not on the team. Instead, we have Kechik Imba standing in for Orange. No Mushi in this game, apparently. Maybe he was busy this day. But still, overall, probably a really strong lineup. Will be probably most likely more than enough to take down InFamous, a team I have not heard of. But they might make themselves InFamous very, very soon. They have the possibilities to take down Orange. But right now, it's going to be very difficult. They're giving up one of Orange's favorite heroes in the form of that Batrider. And instead, we're going to see InFamous respond with Shadow Demon, and we'll see if they pair it with anything else, like a Kunkka for a dual lane mid. They probably wouldn't pick up Kunkka this early on. They might go for a hard carry that pairs well with them in lane, or pair him up with another support who can go ganking with him very early on, because one of the best ways to shut down Batrider in the early stages of the game is with ganking, but they're going to pick up the Keeper of the Light. Keep in mind, Keeper of the Light, Disruption, and Soul Catcher, as well as Illuminate, does do an immense amount of damage. But Keeper of the Light does want to stay back when challenging, so he isn't really the best pursuer. He doesn't have anything like a stun to follow up the disruption. So if this is a challenge, they might want to pick up a carry with some sort of slow or a stun. Maybe something like a PL. PL does pair very well with Keeper of the Light. Again, something like a Sven, who does get benefit from the Chakra Magic, as well as having a really, really high burst potential with his nuke, as well as a good duration on his stun.
Reserve time.
Mio, Orange, the sky's the limit. They are known for running their Batrider offlane, but again, that was with Winter. So they have the potential to run the Batrider mid lane, could put him in the jungle, can do anything. So really, the Batrider first pickup doesn't really give away too much of their strategy, too much of their laning possibilities, and really just is a very versatile opening gambit.
Phantom Lina.
And Phantom Lancer and Lina are going to be the next two pickups for the side of Neolution. I think this is, I don't know if they necessarily wanted Phantom Lancer. I think this is more just to deny InFamous the Phantom Lancer, because one of the best ways for teams to sort of beat well-known teams if they just turtle it up and just use a really annoying combination like Keeper of the Light, Phantom Lancer. So I guess Orange just want to make sure that option for turtling is not in InFamous' arsenal. And instead, InFamous is going to pick up the Undying. Really interesting, really aggressive trying with Keeper of the Light Undying, but unfortunately the only slow they have or the only setup stun they have is the Disruption Shadow Demon. And the Keeper the Light, Undying, Shadow Demon, Trion. I guess Undying will get the most farm. He won't get too much experience unless they run a Shadow Demon dual mid. I'm not too sure. And actually the admin's contacting me right now saying that the old website for the Litany League will be closed soon. So I will post more future details, but again, the 3rd season of the Litany League will be covered by Dotatalk. But yeah, again, this Trion is a little bit odd because it's not a carry Trion, so they're going to have to pick up 2 strong DPSers unless they want to go all out early game, which they might be forced to do against Phantom Lancer, especially if Barrett picks up an early blink dagger. Then people like Keeper the Light, Shadow Demon suddenly become a lot less useful. Even Undying, who can't get a couple decay stacks right off the bat, will just greatly be reduced in terms of his effectiveness. And keep in mind, Neolution did pick up Lina. Not too sure. I guess they just wanted a good support. It wasn't anything to sort of stop, like Lina being picked up with Shadow Demon, unless they really wanted a really aggressive try and put Undying in a solo lane. Lina is probably one of the best supports that can be paired with the Shadow Demon, just because she dishes out so much burst damage that does get amplified by the Soul Catcher damage. But main Neolution-Orange, you just want to pick up the Lina anyway, so that could be an option as well. Give them a nice amount of burst damage, give them some early game damage potential. Keep in mind, Phantom Lancer does do pretty good early damage as well as Barrett, but Lina definitely the queen of burst damage in the early stages of the game with Shadow Demon. And Shadow Demon is not going to be in the cards for them this game because it is the first pickup by InFamous. Meanwhile, we see Neolution-Orange banning out the Darkseer, so they are going to ban out potential, I imagine, safe lane heroes, because InFamous' Trion most likely will have to be aggressive. Undying, Keeper the Light do have the potential to do very strongly in an aggressive Trion, unless they again run a dual lane mid with Shadow Demon and put Undying in a solo lane and run Keeper the Light with a carry in the safe lane. That could be an option for InFamous, but still, that lineup might be a bit too passive and might allow Phantom Lancer to get too much farm if Undying is on the off lane. So right now, InFamous a little bit questionable on their drafting skills because I don't know how honestly they can shut down the Phantom Lancer without going full on aggressive, and even if they do, Undying, Shadow Demon, and Keeper the Light don't really benefit as much from. They definitely benefit from kills, but they don't benefit from the safer amounts of farm that they could get in a Trion. So as long as Orange can contest the solo lane, or maybe predict where the solo lane is happening and then send their Trion up against that, then they should be okay. But keep in mind, Orange is a vastly experienced team, and I'm honestly not too sure how much experience InFamous does have, especially dealing with a top tier team like Neolution-Orange. Definitely the undisputed best in the Southeast Asian region.
10 seconds remaining.
Meanwhile, Neolution-Orange gonna bat out the Luna, saying, okay, you want to go early game, we're gonna bat out early game carries such as Luna. Probably won't bat out the Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight doesn't fare too well against the Phantom Lancer, but Luna does do pretty well, has the Glaze to clear out illusions pretty quickly. We'll see if they ban out anything like the Kunkka in case they won't anticipate a dual lane Kunkka Shadow Demon mid, and Kunkka does do decently against the PL, but they might probably just ban out a more staring carry. I'm not too sure if InFamous have practiced Shadow Demon Kunkka. It's a very niche sort of lineup that only a couple teams have practiced, it seems like. Meanwhile, InFamous gonna bat out the Sand King, trying to eliminate team fight, eliminate split pushing. They know if Nature's Prophet and Sand King do get the pushes going, it'll be very difficult to stop them, and the more time they give Phantom Lancer, the worse shape they'll be in.
5 seconds remaining.
So yeah, Neolution-Orange, I expect them to ban out another carry. The question is who? Maybe something like a Sven, who pairs well with the Coddle and the Shadow Demon, and does do reasonably well against the Phantom Lancer until Phantom Lancer does drain all his mana. No, they're gonna ban out the Weaver. Interesting ban. Maybe they know something about InFamous, but I don't know if Weaver necessarily would be a good choice. They have mechanisms in place in terms of shutting him down, that Barrett or Lasso, and Weaver really doesn't do well against AoE heroes unless he has a really fast Radiance. But other than that, Weaver is pretty good in terms of picking down support, so maybe they're anticipating InFamous for just ignoring the Phantom Lancer for the majority of the battle and just pick off the supports. Or maybe they just really don't want to deal with Weaver. I think that might be the best sort of guess we can get from this, that Neolution-Orange just really hate playing against Weaver. And honestly, very few teams do like playing against that Weaver. He's very annoying to deal with. But still, he can be shut down, and definitely does not compare to Phantom Lancer in the late stages of the game. You know, InFamous, we'll see if they continue to ban out They're gonna ban out Templar Assassin.
Dire team pick.
Interesting. They don't really have anything to drain away Refraction. That could be the reasoning behind that TA ban. They might not be able to contest her with a strong mid lane hero. But this TA ban means that they most likely won't run a dual lane mid with a Coddle or a Shadow Dune and one carry in their arsenal. So TA ban does give away some of what InFamous might be trying to go for. Or maybe just really fear the TA play by Orange. But still, Mushi's not in the game, and Mushi is definitely the TA player on the side of Neolution-Orange for the most part. So we'll see what Orange decides to choose. Again, Barrett can be lane mid, can be lane long lane, can go into the jungle. So the only definitive choices we have thus far are Phantom and Selena, most likely in the safe lane. They could go aggressive with this, but again, without Coddle refueling the Lancer's mana, it'll be very difficult. And yes, this Enigma pickup will mean that this will be a jungle Enigma, or it could be off-lane Enigma and put Barrett in mid lane. But most likely, I'm going to anticipate Phantom Lancer Lena safe lane with Enigma jungle, Barrett a mid, and some sort of off-lane hero. Although they could put Barrett in the off-lane, still, really versatile pickups by Neolution-Orange, very difficult to anticipate their lanes. And they have Alina, so they do have the potential to run aggressive Trine, but still, running an aggressive Trine up against Shouty and Keeperlight Undying is just asking for trouble.
10 seconds remaining.
Meanwhile, InFamous, they obviously pretty much have painted themselves into a hole if they have to go all out early game. Otherwise, they will most likely just be screwed in terms of mid to late game action. Shouty and Keeperlight don't get too much experience. Undying won't get as much experience as he wants, but he should be able to get a decent amount of farm as long as Undying can survive. And as long as Phantom doesn't get too much farm, there really aren't too many strong tombstone mechanisms, or tombstone killing mechanisms. Of course, the Eidolons do a number. And InFamous gonna keep up their mid-game sort of powerhouse lineup with a Queen of Pain pickup, trying to seal out that mid lane. And really, Batrider does struggle against Queen of Pain in the mid lane, so this is pretty strong choice in my opinion. And she does do an immense amount of mid-game burst damage, so Phantom Lancer will always have to be careful as long as InFamous does keep up detection.
10 seconds. 10 seconds remaining.
But still, again, InFamous, if they don't win by around the 20-minute mark, then they are most likely going to be dead. And the reason why they have much shorter time period is that their heroes do fade out quicker, because they don't have much physical DPS. And by around the 20-minute mark, Phantom Lancer will have one or two split pushing items, whether it be a Diffusal, or he'll probably have the Radiance Fish if he gets uninterrupted farm. He'll have the Diffusal to help him jungle as well as split push, and they're going to pick up the Sven as well. This will be most likely a support Sven. So yeah, this is pretty interesting. So it is going to be Barrett mid, Enigma off, and Child and Phantom Lancer going to Sven. So we're going to see Orange bring back the Sven pickup as support. It does give them a nice mechanism in terms of killing people, and Sven Lena very strong roamers. They do have quite a long duration in terms of lockdown with their stun, and the more time you can lock down an Undying or a Queen of Pain, the better off you're going to be in the early stages of the game. So Neolution-Orange countering some of InFamous's early game strength with a lot of disable on their squad. And InFamous going to pick up the Clinks again. This is most likely just to rush the Orchid ASAP. But now with the Clinks pickup, it could mean that no, Clinks will most likely be safe lane, soloing it up, and I think InFamous will have to run an aggressive trial, and otherwise it just will not work out for them. But again, Clinks does not do well against PL, has no AoE whatsoever. The only person that has AoE is Keeperlight and the Queen of Pain, and still once Phantom Lancer gets a couple points into that Phantom Edge, the burst damage by Queen of Pain and Keeperlight will be greatly reduced, although it will be relevant for quite a bit. But still, it's going to be an interesting game to see how long Orange can hold out, and if they can hold out, they should be in good shape, but still, a lot of mid-game potential on the side of InFamous, who have a pretty sweet banner. But yeah, now it's the time to introduce the players and the teams. As you see Lena roaming in. She is looking classy as heck. Clearly on her way to a party. I actually have not seen this outfit as they're going to smoke up. Trying to catch off one of these heroes on the side of InFamous. Maybe anticipating jungle. They're just going to place... Wow. How do they know which direction InFamous is going in? Maybe this is the path that InFamous often take, but they're going to run right into the squad of InFamous. Keeperlight going to channel a 2-second blast doing 200 AoE damage. Undying, very strong in these level engagements, but Phantom Lance is going to be dropped off, or Phantom Lance is going to be dropped off, slowing down the assault, and not too much mana was expended by the side of InFamous. Meanwhile, Stormhammer was expended by the side of Orange, but Sven just going to go back to base, probably refill his mana, Won't have to burn a clarity at this point. No, gonna plant the ward, so he is gonna have to burn his clarity. A bit unfortunate for Sven. So overall, I think it is gonna be victory by InFamous, as they are gonna get a D ward off, preventing vision for that rune as well. So nicely done by InFamous. Those level engagements, nobody died, but still Sven burning his clarity, and the ward was immediately countered. Nicely done by InFamous. But still, definitely a disadvantage that can be easily overcome. Nobody got killed, nobody got experience, and ward got killed, so all Barrett has to do is just be a bit more careful. Again, Barrett better than most in terms of surviving mid lane engagements, because he can Firefly over cliffs and just make supports chasing him's lives completely miserable if they run into the Firefly damage. But yeah, now it's time to use the players in the teams, as we're going to have X-Carnation playing the Queen of Pain, FML is playing the Shouty, and Masenko is playing the Undying. I've heard of Masenko. It's obviously a different Masenko, as I have not casted Indian Dota, as Disruption is going to cast it on the Sven. Illuminate is going to flatten, as well as a Decay, but at level 1 Decay, relatively long cooldown. It does get very, very short, very, very quickly. But again, not too much mana being expended, and just going to constantly harass back the Sven, who has to pop the remnants of his clarities and his cells, just stay in lane. And again, Keeper Fanlancer will have a difficult time in terms of farming in this lane. There's dual range, and all he has is a Lina in terms of range support. But again, if there's stuns coming in, then nobody on the side of InFamous should be safe, as we're going to see a bit of harassment. Keeper Light forced to pop a clarity. He's going to channel the Illuminate, but now his clarity most likely will be cancelled. Nice juking, but Keeper Light is going to get stunned. Here comes the Disruption to help save him, but keep in mind, Orange X did not actually use his stuns, held on to as long as possible, and Keeper Light is going to fall for the first blood. Meanwhile, Undying is on the pursuit. Orange, Net, I think, is playing this Sven. Gonna have to retreat for now, as there has just been so much action, I can't even properly introduce the players. But yeah, Masenko is playing that Undying, Zedis Bug is playing the Keeper Light, Scam is playing the Clinks, and meanwhile on the side of Orange, we're gonna have Extinct playing the Lina, KYXY is playing the Enigma, Ketchik Imba is playing the Phantom Lancer, I think, unless this is Mushi's alternate tag, but I must imagine this is Ketchik Imba, the new player on Orange, the Child Prodigy handling that Phantom Lancer. Net is playing the Sven, and Ohio is playing the Batrider. But yeah, nice recovery by Orange. Getting a kill in this really, really strong tri-lane really helps set the tone. We'll give him a bit of momentum. We'll allow Sven to come back with full clarity, full mana, as Illuminate's being channeled onto Extinct. He's going to take a bunch of damage, but one problem with this tri-lane is, again, they have no slows or stuns other than the Shouty and Disruption. So as long as these supports pick up boots, they should be okay until Dying picks up boots, or picks up enough levels to keep on the pursuit, because at this point, at level 1, Undying, not really the best killing machine. He's really good in terms of lane harassment with that Decay, but really the cooldowns and the fact that the Decay doesn't do that much damage at level 1, even though it does give him a lot of strength. Really troublesome for this Undying to pick up a lot of kills, with him being the primary damage dealer, as Sven is going to rotate around, just do a bit of harassment. But right now, Ketchik Imba, using this time, only 3 CS, but still, he's surviving, and that's all that matters. Already has Basilius to give him some armor. We're going to see Ohio actually driving away the Queen of Pain completely. 5 stacks on the Queen of Pain. Gonna have to be very careful, as Barrett with the haste rune does not care about Queen of Pain and her blink ability, as Barrett cutting down the creep wave. Not too sure what he's doing, as he's baiting out the blink as long as possible. Keep in mind, Queen of Pain does have to turn before he uses the blink, as the haste is going to push her back, as well as the flame break nicely placed by Ohio. Will pick up the kill. Nicely done, as he flew around quite a bit, baiting out the blink as long as possible, and calculated the haste rune duration perfectly, forcing Queen of Pain's hand. I'm not too sure why he flew around in weird zigzag patterns for so long, but obviously was waiting for the blink. And one of the problems with Queen of Pain's blink, compared to something like a blink dagger or a anti-mage blink, is that she has to actually turn in the direction she's blinking towards. Meanwhile, this bottom lane, I don't expect too much action. Clinks versus Enigma. Clinks going to be rushing that Orchid. Already has 10 CS. Enigma will have a slight advantage because he has 3 summons that can do a lot of harassment to Clinks. But the Clink's not really in any danger of dying unless Enigma does pick up early detection. And he obviously is not going to go for that. Going to go for the Soaring build instead. So far it seems like InFamous are losing 2 of their lanes. And I think the bottom lane most likely is just a wash, as long as Clinks is getting some decent CS. But a nice Stormhammer catching 2 people and dying is going to rotate in. And that might be a key for InFamous to make something happen, because there's no consumables for Sven. He doesn't have a Stormhammer, won't have Stormhammer for quite a bit. This is the time for InFamous to be aggressive. They should know that Sven is pretty much going to be useless for the next 20 seconds or so. No, gets the clarity shipped to him by Lena. So nicely done by his support. We'll have Stormhammer up very, very soon. So now InFamous going to have to be very careful. But Undying is getting a lot more farm than Phantom. It's actually only 3 additional CS. So far, oh man, this Chakra Magic Decay combination just so brutal. Constantly driving lane supports. Unfortunately, Undying whipped his Decay stack right there. So everybody didn't take too much damage, and everybody still has max strength at this point. And so far, InFamous playing a bit composed. Again, very unfortunate for the Queen of Pain that she lost that haste rune. But still, doing decently well. 11 CS, 12 CS compared to Barret's 19. Queen of Pain is probably one of the most difficult matchups for Barret, but Barret does pick up haste rune and gets an early kill. Then it's really difficult for Queen of Pain actually to make a comeback. She can't really afford to harass because once Barret gets a level advantage, if Queen of Pain does sort of use her range advantage, Barret can get more stacks, do more damage with his auto attacks, and really keep Queen of Pain back. Queen of Pain only 2 armor, not really the best physical defense. As Light Strike Ray, Stormhammer, Dragon Slave gonna clean up Shadow Demon in the blink of an eye. As so far, InFamous losing 2 other lanes quite handily. And this is the risk you take when running this aggressive challenge. You don't have any carries farming it up. You just have Undying farming it up, who definitely benefits from a lot of early game farm. As I think he's getting a Soul Ring shipped towards him, it might be a Basilius. Can't even click the courier, GGB. And meanwhile, Enigma's going to try to apply a bit of pressure to this tower, so if we manage to get this tower, then the bottom lane will have been one as well. So we can see Orange already applying the pressure, trying to win all 3 lanes. Clinks does have 25 CS, so again, not doing too bad, but keep in mind Enigma probably denying his own creeps to keep away Clinks from getting too much experience. But actually, Clinks is out-leveling Enigma, and we're going to see a rotation in, try to gank off that Enigma. Enigma did not have wards, the wards did time out. But I think Enigma suspects something's up, knows that Queen of Pain is not contesting the mid lane, so just staying very far back. Look at the positioning of Enigma, staying as far back from the trees as possible. And Queen of Pain can blink in. Only 2 stacks on that magic stick, no bottle. This Queen of Pain has been harassed mercilessly as Barret picks up another haste rune. Really bad news for the side of the Radiant. And you can see the Radiant supports in the Shrine staying very far back as well. They don't have any vision of the Barret. They don't have any vision supports. You can see how much wards matter in this stage of the game. As there's going to be a dust attempt, Barret will get the haste rune, gank off onto the Clinks. Here comes the Stormhammer, as Malphus will be used instead of the Stormhammer. Now Sven has full mana, and they're going to pick up the Clinks. So far, Orange is just picking apart InFamous. And meanwhile, Queen of Pain not able to get too much accomplished on the bottom lane. Gonna have to apply a bit of pressure to the mid lane, hopefully force Barret to get back, but as it is, they are gonna lose the bottom tier 1 tower. Clink's gonna lose a good chunk of farm as well as farming time. It looks like he bought all of his items before he died, so nicely done on that part. Picked up the boots as well as getting the magic wand and a wraith band, so now he can start rushing his Orchid. And meanwhile, Phantom is taking a lot of harassment, but just contentedly last hitting creeps. Now is surpassing the Clinks in terms of farm. Meanwhile, Undying 6 CS behind the Phantom Lancer, and of course, anytime a Phantom Lancer is given farm, it's a bad time for the opposing team. As I imagine the Phantom Lancer will rush the Diffusal, but Southeast Asian Phantom Lancers, honestly, again, I can't comment too much on Orange's Phantom Lancers because I have not seen Orange in quite a bit. But Southeast Asian Phantom Lancers in general do like to rush the Radiance. They like having the magical damage and the sustainability of that damage when Phantom Lance solutions are being casted. But still, Diffusal Blade is probably the better choice. It drains mana, and draining the mana of people like Coddle, Undying, Shadow Demon will just be very useful. Although, again, I'm not too sure, because Shadow Demon does do quite well against Phantom Lance, can disrupt illusions, so they can get Diffusal Blade damage or range damage on their side very quickly if that is an option. But no, Phantom Lancer did just buy an item. I think that was a Blade of Alacrity. No, gonna go for the drums. Interesting. As I guess nobody else on his team would make the drums other than the Phantom Lancer. Sen not farming whatsoever, as Clink's staying very far back, anticipating some detection being used, as he is not farming lane whatsoever. There are 2 people in his lane. Sen is staying in, does have the dust, so that is why Clinks is staying so far back. As Phantom Lancer does pick off the Undying Tombstone, will not be killed, but so far 5-0 in favor of Orange. This is not going well for InFamous as Phantomlets or Spiritlands will drive away the Queen of Pain, actually going to blink back very defensively, anticipating some teleports in by somebody like the Sven, but Sven is going to remain on the bottom lane. Illuminate is going to fly in for the Enigma. Will he cast Black Hole as he might have to? We'll get a two-man Black Hole. Here comes Sven rushing in with the Warcry. Going to get another Storm Arrow. Will pick up the Keeper Light as well as the Clinks. Meanwhile, Lina does get a kill on Queen of Pain, and InFamous are starting to crumble under the pressure as Masenko going to teleport, but going to get some stacks to him. Firefly will run out, and the tower tanking or being tanked by Ohio means that he can't go in too aggressive for this kill. But as is Orange just running rampages all over the side of InFamous. It's not a good day for India so far this game. KYXY does have the Soul Ring. Probably going to finish his mech up very, very soon. Again, I can't claim to say I've watched too many Orange games recently. Just haven't had too much time. But the standard build for Enigmas in Western series to go for the Mecha, but it wouldn't be too surprising to see KYXY rush something like a Dagger and just be really aggressive, shut down any hopes that the InFamous team have in terms of coming back in the early stages of the game. As you can see, Lasta going down. Clinks will get a kill with the help of Queen of Pain, will pay for it with their life, but it's going to be a 2-for-1. They shut down the Clinks in exchange for feeding Queen of Pain a couple of kills. And Queen of Pain did get double nose, trying to give her some stats as well as some HP. As Dragon Slayer is going to go in, Laguna Blade just going to clean up the Queen of Pain. I don't think Queen of Pain had vision. It is nighttime, so the creeps were not giving Queen of Pain too much vision. She was just taking those creeps. Did not even see the Lina coming, so nicely done by Lina right there to pick up the kill. And so far that definitely went in favor of InFamous after that Queen of Pain death, because they lost their Clinks. And you can see 11 minutes in the game, Arcane Boots already fished on the Lina. Mecha already fished on the Enigma. Gonna push down this middle tower without too much trouble. I guess they don't want to get into deny range unless they have a couple more people in there. And the tower not yet in deny range. Has to be below 10% for it to be in deny range. As there's going to be some reinforcements. InFamous looks like they want to take a fight. They don't have the Queen of Pain ultimate, but they're going to jump in on KYXY knowing Black Hole is down. They're going to try to pick him off. Illuminate's going to fly in. They will pick off KYXY. One more steering arrow, but the mechanism is popped. Clinks not orb walking properly, but just playing very scared. And the Scream Pain does whiff. As InFamous playing very, very shaky at this point. 2 stones dropped. Here comes Baroner on the assault. Flame Rate going to push back everybody. Here comes the Lugula Blade flying in. Queen of Pain escaping by the sliver. By the slimmest of HP margins. No, Enigma is there for the offensive. And will pick off the retreating Queen of Pain. Well, Undying going to die as well. Even with the invisibility, not enough to save him. As the Tombstone just got cleaned up very, very quickly. I think... No, that was a level 3 Tombstone. I'm surprised it died so fast. But wow, InFamous, nothing is going right, as they're clearly being shaken by a very, very strong team. Again, it's at this point it's pretty much undisputed after the recent Southeast Asian League that Neolution-Orange is probably the best team in Southeast Asia. Meanwhile, Sven does manage to pick up a kill. Barrier does have the dagger up, just used the lasso, didn't even have to use the dagger. No, didn't even use the lasso, as the lasso level 2 does have 7-second cooldown, but Clinks does pick up the Sven, but support Sven in exchange for a Coddle. Well, Clinks got the kill, so overall, probably worth it for the rating, but all the while, Phantomlancer is farming up, has the drums complete, gonna go for the defusal. Doesn't want to bother with any farming for 80 minutes, wants to get into the action, do more damage for his team, drain a lot of mana, and just be overall very annoying in the mid stages of the game rather than farming up with the raids. Raids probably better in terms of split pushing on him, even though the Diffusal Blade helps out Illusions a bit more in terms of getting them some attack speed and some damage. But Radiance in the early stages of the game definitely helps you split push more, because the damage that your Illusions are pumping out won't really be amplified too much by the Diffusal Blade. And the Radiance burn damage is just really, really strong, but Radiance won't help you team fight. And Diffusal Blade definitely will help you team fight, as you can constantly burn down mana. Well, Raids can help you team fight because of the burn damage, but still, Diffusal Blade mana burn at this season game very, very key. As Undying gonna reveal himself, and here comes a bat. Undying even gonna drop the Tombstone, giving Phantomlancer some free gold. Man, InFamous just being run over at this stage of the game. Not even going to use his real Phantom Lancer to kill off the Tombstone. Just going to use the... No, did manage to pick up 130 gold in that exchange, so overall, very nice return on his investment by the Phantom Lancer right there. And they did get a tower as well as Sven trying to bait out the Queen of Pain blink. As Light Striker, a nice catch, gonna catch on the Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain does blink out, blinks right into the waiting arms of the Lina. Extinct picks up an easy kill, mega kill streak on Lina. Extinct definitely having fun in this game as he really nicely placed that stun. And where would Queen of Pain go? I guess she could have tried to blink backward, but I think the turning animation would have been a bit too long because she was facing this direction. As again, that direction. So she would have had to turn around, and turning against Batrider, never really something you want to have happen. So 3-16 in favor of Neolution-Orange, as Enigma does pick up a 15.5-minute dagger as well as a mecha. Shadow Demon yet to even pick up his boots. Level 5, gonna get that 3rd point to Shadow Poison, as things are looking very grim for the side of the Indians. And I think that is a full defusal being shipped towards the Phantom Lancer. Shadow Poison and Illuminate gonna scout him out, but really without too much initiation as more kills happening all over the map. Really surprising that Queen of Pain is actually the one who's dying so much, because she has a blink. But still, I guess, did they use Blink Lasso? They might have. But 2 and 6 on the Queen of Pain, definitely not something you expect 16 minutes of the game where there's nothing like an Orchid in the picture. As we're going to see dual supports roam in, trying to get engagement on that top lane. Keeper of the Light won't even need the help of the supports to die. Will just die on his own, as Masenko being picked off as well. And InFamous, I think at this point they're just playing for the fact that they're playing up against Orange. They have a lot to learn from Orange, obviously. As Sven is going to dive in for the Shouty and blinking by KLXI with the Malphus. Defensive disruption will prolong the inevitable, as Clinks will pick up the Sven. And Barrett are going to have to retreat out of mana. But should be okay. Mechanism is in place and Clinks actually no mana whatsoever. And it looks like Neolution-Orange actually want to turn around once Dagger's up on the Enigma. They want to turn around and try to kill off this Queen of Pain. No, they are lacking severely in terms of it. Actually, are battling up, and with those Arcane Boots going to heal them up, as KOX are just trying to find the angle to initiate. But we'll be thwarted in that endeavor. As Phantom Lancer trying to scare away the other team will pick off the tower, and Dying going to charge in. Doesn't look like he has detection. He does not have detection. And Phantom Lancer just going to pick up a very easy tower. So Diffusal Blade up on the PL, checking out the gold and experience graph. 15k gold advantage. Sentry in the game gonna go down even more after that tower kill. 16k experience advantage in the game. Baron are gonna blink in onto the Clinks. Do they have detection? Just gonna use a blink in Enigma, try and catch 2 people in the black hole. Gonna force staff or flame break Clinks backward. Enigma meanwhile solos the Shouty with the help of the Barrier Flame or the Firefly. At this point, it's pretty much safe to say that it's going to be GG very, very soon. 22-4 up against a PL with a Blink Dire Enigma. I honestly don't see a comeback, especially not when Clinks has died 4 times. And I imagine nowhere close to finishing his Orchid. So at this point, all we can do is learn. Well, where did it go wrong? The tri-lane, for one, did not work out. The Batrider picking up a very fast Blink Dagger, and the fact that Queen of Pain died a couple of times. That haste rune, I think if Batrider didn't get the haste rune, that Queen of Pain would have had a bit better of a time. Still, not too sure if she would have won lane again. Ohio, very high skilled player, probably one of the most high skilled mid players in the Southeast Asian region, if not the highest skilled player in that region. As Clinks, ooh, they sensed him. I'm surprised they don't have a gem, but 4 staff is finished up on the Batrider. Less than 20 minutes in the game. This is a Batrider's dream at this point.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
As yeah, even though Cupola Undying, very strong mechanism for a tri-lane. As Batrider gonna be driven away, and Enigma gonna blink in, gonna get the black hole onto one person, the Shouty, and meanwhile Enigma's gonna get bursted down. Clink's gonna get stunned as well as the Undying. Where is the Tombstone? Tombstone already was casted as KOXO is gonna be driven away by the zombies. Will end up dying, but does pick up the Queen of Pain. Meanwhile, Barrett are gonna Firefly away. Masenko taking a lot of damage from the auto-attacking Lina. Will Soul Rip up as Illuminate and Soulcatcher doing amplified damage to Net as he will pick off the Clinks. Will fall in the process. Meanwhile, Extinct gonna be driven away. It's gonna be a 4 for 2. As that is definitely gonna give InFamous some life. But meanwhile, Fanlights are just going to push the base. We'll pick off this tier 3 tower as there is no glyph in place for the side of the rain. And now Fanlights are going to charge in. We'll try to pick off the Cube Light. Going to use a Purge as well as Orange just going to mess around at this stage. Purge is going to go off onto the Phantom Lancer. Will escape very easily. The Purge not enough damage to kill him. And now he's going to retreat. Cube Light going to buy back. Not too sure what the point of that buyback was. As he probably would have been able to finish Triangles if he didn't buy back. At least afford another set of wards, but buyback gonna prevent him? Probably just a heat of the moment buyback. But yeah, nice engagement on the bottom lane. But Dire did clean up 2 towers, the tier 3 and the tier 2. So even though it was a 4 for 2 on this bottom lane fight, they fought without the Phantom Lancer, and they got 2 towers. I think that was probably worth it for the Dire, considering that Phantom Lancer did not die. So even the best trades for the side of the rain are in favor of the Dire. This is just not looking good. As Clink's about 600 away from finishing his Orchid. But yeah, just commenting a little bit again on that tri lane. Undying Keeper of the Light, very strong tri lane, but I don't know if Shadow Demon is necessarily the best tri lane hero to pair with him, because Disruption is good and all, but it doesn't actually do damage. And he really needs the Soul Catcher to do amplified damage. And Undying really just wants to have people that he can hold in place with. Keeper Light does not do that. Of course, the Disruption into Illuminate into Decay does do a lot of damage, but still, at max at level 1, it probably can only do about 350 damage. Meanwhile, the double stun, not only does it do 300 damage in an AoE at level 1, they also have Phantom Lancer from long range away with his nuke. It really just makes it very difficult for the Rain to actually keep up with the Dire if the burst damage does manage to kill a hero. Once Fan gets mana, as is going to be blinked forward by the Batrider, Queen of Pain anticipates something's happening, and she will blink away to safety, but Sven just going to pop the Warcry. Glyph is up for the side of the raid. They're going to have to use it very, very soon. Cable Light going to have to get in place to channel that Illuminate. Keep in mind, it's only level 1 Spirit form, so only 20 seconds of channeling at this stage. Or maybe it's 30 seconds, I'm not too sure. I had to check that out. As there is a Vlad's on the side of the Dire. Barry going to blink in, going to catch off the Queen of Pain yet again. Undying going to pop the Flesh Golem as well as the Tombstone. Nice defensive disruption. Saving the Queen of Pain for now. She will blink off to safety as Clinks does finish the Orchid, as Sonic Wave will be used to clear a lot of the Family Solutions, but Blink in Black Hole, but nice Orchid by the Clinks will help prevent the death of all of his team. We'll try to clean up everybody on the side of Dire, but he is only one man. Sven is going to fall in exchange for the Keeper of the Light. Keeper of the Light very instrumental in this base defense, but I think everybody on the side of Dire are very low HP. They do not want to throw away the game too recklessly, as Sven's just going to charge him by himself. No ultimate in place. As Disruption gonna be baited out, didn't you not wait for the stuns? Orchid's gonna be popped, trying to kill off the Sven. Batrider and Sven on the retreat. Very low in terms of mana. Gonna have to retreat right now. It's gonna be a 1-for-1 exchange.
Appreciated.
Actually, it's gonna be a 1-for-0, because I forgot to mention while I was talking about the trial, and Orange did pick up the Aegis and actually give it to Sven. Lina picks up the dagger, and things are looking even more grim. Over 20k advantage in terms of gold for the side of Neolution-Orange. Dire have yet to take a tower. Over 20k, almost 25k experience advantage for the side of Orange as well. And again, InFamous don't really have the team fight to compete with Orange in the late stage of the game. They only really have a Tombstone, which pretty much at this stage is gold for the Phantom Lancer Illusions. And Phantom Lancer picked up the Vlads, mostly just amplifies pushing power. Keep in mind, Illusions do not benefit from lifesteal, but I guess nobody else wanted to pick up the Vlads on his team, and it definitely helps you push. So this indicates that Neolution-Orange do want to end the game very, very soon. They're just tired of being in this game, obviously. But they're defending with everything that they have, which is definitely very respectable. As Barrett are gonna blink in, gonna find a keep the light, gonna die. Barrett, are you level 16? No, so he still has that longer cooldown on the last, but now the tier 3 on the bomb lane is being besieged. Vanlancer probably gonna have to buy back or back up. Only has the ultimate orb, so if he takes too much damage, he will just die. Doesn't have anything on the heart just yet. As Queen of Pain gonna drive back, smoke gonna be popped. Weird smoke. I guess just to save the life against the illusions. But that's pretty much 100 gold down the drain right there, and at this point you need all the gold you can possibly muster up if you are the Radiant side. And here comes rotation in for the top lane. Enigma gonna blink in, trying to catch out the Queen of Pain. She is gonna get stunned to death. No, that's the Undying. He's gonna get stunned to death. He will die to the Sportsman, who is dominating everything with the God Strength. Radiant gonna give up the top barracks without too much of a fight. Oh man, Shouty didn't even get stunned, just got Laguna'd right to the face. With the gem up on the Lina, Clinks can't even run around to try to do invisible orchid shenanigans. And now Neolution-Orange, it looks like they want to end the game. They do not have the black hole. Actually, they will have the black hole up very, very soon. So now the Radiant can't even clump up. They do have the orchid in place for the Clinks, but now Lina with that gem will be able to clean up the Clinks. So Enigma should pretty much have free roam with this black hole. As oh man, this is just a massacre. As InFamous should have bought their mouth guards, because it was going to be a bloodbath. As InFamous going to call GG. Well played both teams by side of ELG. Again, they were the live casters for this tournament. I'm not too sure where to find the VODs, but I think the Twitch stream is ELG Dota 2 or ELG 2. I'm not too sure. But yeah, Orange going to move on very easily against the Indians. I'm not too sure the format of this league. If it has group stages or if it's just a double elimination bracket. I think it might just be a double elimination bracket. But yeah, expect more Orange replays to come. Not too sure if they won this tournament, as the competition will get stiffer. Not gonna lie, this is a pretty easy game for Orange, as they won every lane, and they had a Phantom Lancer, so they won the late game. They had a better team fight. Pretty much the only strength that InFamous had was their early game, and they lost that pretty handily. But again, I mean, if InFamous didn't lose a haste rune on the Barrier, things might have gone a bit different. But their trial was just doomed to fail without any stunts to lock them in place. Undying, keep the light. I mean, if you're Empire, you can make it work, but it might be too ambitious for other teams to make it work. Because again, you have no stunts or slows other than disruption by the Shadow Demon. As Black Hole going to be used with the Ghost Scepter, Percent going to charge in, going to feed. KOXY going to feed as well. Gonna boost up the kill count. So now Neolution-Orange can't say we quadrupled your kills. Now they're only tripling the kills. And some. But the Mega Creeps have been cleaned up. But yeah, overall not the best showing by the Indians, but it's cool to see some different scenes trying out Dota 2. As I know the Armageddon Dota 2 League or Dota 2 tournament has a lot of different teams from a lot of different regions participating. Because one of the prizes is a sponsorship, which is definitely something everybody wants at this stage in the game. I'll see if I can get my hands on some of those replays, but unfortunately the tournament admins, the email's not really working, and I haven't been able to get in contact with them to get replays from that tournament. But as it is, just more found farming going on. Sonic Wave going to be used to clean up the Lina, and Barrier will die. But Mega Creeps are in place. They can't actually defend against Mega Creeps. Phantom Lancer buys Rapier, 28 minutes in the game. Diffusal Manta Vlad's Rapier, I'm just checking out his GPM, 667, 28 minutes in the game. Pretty much 800 GPM at 40 minutes in the game, because there are not enough creeps to spawn, and yada yada yada, all that usual stuff. But now, expect everybody to die. Keep in mind, illusions do not benefit from the plus damage, so Rapier on PL is pretty a bad item actually. But, I mean, when you're winning by this much, why wouldn't you get a Rapier? As the Mega Creeps will clean up the throne, so again, this has been a presentation of the Litany League. Shoutouts to Heavy Arm Storage and the Litany League for putting on this production again. The website will be removed, and a new website will go out. I'll try to get out the details ASAP, but if you're in the Southeast Asian region and want to sign up, I'm pretty sure it might be an open tournament. I'm not too sure. but thanks to the game is called by InFamous. GGs are called all around, as InFamous, again, probably just happy to play against Orange in the tournament. So, yeah, they're appreciating the opportunity. They know they got stomped. They're not too salty. They know Orange, again, probably the best team in the Southeast Asian region. Really, once the try-outs went wrong, there wasn't really any hope for InFamous to make a comeback. But they're definitely very appreciative, and Orange going to call the GGs as well. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this game, and more Southeast Asian Dota 2 action will be coming your way in the very near future, so please subscribe, please spread the word. So thanks for watching, and I will see y'all next time. Peace.